Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I've sat down and filmed a video. I apologize. If you've been following me on Instagram, you will know exactly what's been going on. But basically, I wanted to film this video because on a daily basis on Instagram, I get asked how I edit my photos, what apps I use. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to look like your favorite Instagrammer, or like an Instagram version of yourself. I just want to set a disclaimer. Yes, I edit my photos quite a bit, but that's just because I actually personally really just love editing and enhancing and changing things, and I guess that's just the artist in me that loves to do that. So I am perfectly aware that the photos that I post on Instagram aren't necessarily how I actually look in real life. I know that. I just want to put that out there. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay guys, so I know that like the table isn't all neat and shit, but that doesn't matter because the whole point is the phone. Thank you so much. So the first app I usually go into is Facetune. This is like the absolute go-to for all bloggers. All bloggers use this. So I want to go with this one here. Now, I always use a recommended size just because it automatically adjusts it to what it needs to be. So the first thing I usually do is I zoom in and I kind of just analyze the situation and I kind of figure out what I need to change. So the first thing I go to is smooth, obviously, because we want to smooth some shit. And I just kind of zoom in and I just kind of analyze where I want my skin to be a little less textured, because I am a guy. I do have a lot more texture on my face. Never neglect your neck. You always want to smoothen out the entire thing, because then we can bring back the sharpness later on. I'll show you how to do that. Also smoothen like your arm. Basically wherever there is skin, you want to smoothen, unless you want to go for more of a natural effect. Okay, so once I've done that, I then usually go in with tones. Now tones is where it is at for any makeup look. I leave it on the default setting and then I just kind of tap over it and bring it up a little closer to white. And then what you want to do is you want to kind of just zoom over where you want there to be a little more definition, and you just kind of go over the top. So wherever the highlights are, that's where you want to add the tones. And then I usually go in with erase and I just tap over the entire area to soften it a little bit. You don't want to go too over the top with tones right now, because we are going to be going over and adjusting with Enlight later on, which will adjust the lighting once more. You just want to make little enhancements here and there. If you want to widen up the white of your eyes, you can just go straight onto white and tap over the top, and then you can already see that there's a little difference. So you'll notice this little blue button here. When you hold it down, that is what the original looks like without the adjustment you just made, and when you let go, that's with the new adjustment. So I don't like how my highlight is under my brow, so I'm going to press the erase tool and just kind of tap over and under. And the best way to go with this app, guys, especially with tones, is to just tap. You don't want to smear, you don't want to smudge, you don't want to do anything like that, because that's how you fuck your photo up. And then if you want to go back to the original color, you can just press on the first one and then bring it up a little bit more to the whites. And I usually highlight my nose as well and bring it up a little bit. And then I go into erase and then just kind of go over the sides. And this actually helps to contour it a little bit more as well and make it a little more pronounced. Now, one of my favorite tricks to do, guys, and this is so fucking sneaky, go back to the original filter and then just bring it down a little more, maybe to around here. Depending on what eye color you have, of course. If you have brown eyes, then this is great. And then what I usually do is I kind of just tap into my eye. It makes my eye look as if I'm wearing contacts, like as if it just looks so much more bright. It's crazy. With your eyes, remember what you're gonna do to one, you gotta do the other. And then if you go a little bit too harsh, you can just erase, tap over the top, and voila. Now, if you want, you can also highlight like your forehead or wherever else you want some glow. I usually just keep it to under the brow bone, inner corner, nose, Cupid's bow as well. Let's go ahead and do that. And then for brows, so as you can see, this part here isn't as filled in. I'm gonna go ahead and move like even closer to black really, and then I'm gonna go over this entire area like that. And that looks fucked right now, I know, trust me. But then what you do is you go to the erase tool and then you can clean it up and make your shape how you want it. So that's a little bit too harsh still. So I'm just gonna tap over the entire thing because I don't want it to be too black. And then you can see with the before and after how that just adds a lot more definition to the brow as well. And you can even do this to your lash line as well. Like if you wanna hide the lash band, I'm wearing lashes here. These are my Stephanie lashes. And I'm just gonna kind of tap over that entire area with a little bit of black just to add a bit more definition. Okay, so now you want to go ahead and save it to your camera roll. So once you've done that, you want to go ahead and move on to Enlight. Now, Facetune and Enlight are the two apps that I use the most. Facetune 2 is fucking shit. I can't stand it. I sometimes use Visco if I want some cool like effects and stuff like that. So you want to open your photo up into Enlight, and here it is here, looking gorge, but we want to enhance this. So I'm going to tap up here, go to image and adjust. This is like the best. The first thing I go to is basic, and then I go to exposure, and then I kind of bring it up and bring it down, and I just see where I want the photo to sit in terms of brightness. So I think I'm quite happy with that. Now just ignore this highlight part. If it looks a little too bright, we can fix that. And then I'm gonna go into brightness. Now I usually do brightness second because exposure will bring light to the entire picture, but brightness will only bring light to the high points of the photo. Brightness, we can then turn it down, which will make it look a little more saturated and a little more contrasty. As you can see, there's a little bit more color there than if it was like here, for example. If you're wearing a white t-shirt like I am, you might want to be careful that you don't put too much in, because then it can get just a little out of hand. Okay, so once you've done that, don't press the tick, go back to tools and then press details. Now this is the part where we adjust like the dark parts, the light parts. Now depending on what content you're creating on Instagram, it depends on the amount of structure you want to bring to a photo. So I find that for a lot of outdoor photos, you want to bring the structure up because it makes everything stand out. All of the dark parts stand out. But with this photo in particular, I want to bring it down because it almost creates a blurring effect on the skin, as you can see. So I don't bring it down all the way because that just looks fucked. And I've seen some makeup artists use the fucking shit out of this, and you literally can't even see where people have noses. So I usually just bring it down a little bit, maybe to like 20. I wouldn't go more than 30. Like 30, like that's really, like that's quite fucking blurred, girl. And because we did already smoothen out our skin, we don't need that much, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna bring it down to maybe 14. That looks cute. Then you want to go into sharpen, okay? And then you want to bring this up. So the structure brings down the detailing of the photo, which makes everything look a lot more one and a lot more uniform and a lot more blurred. But then the sharpen tool brings attention to all of those details, if that makes sense. So if we were to take away the sharpen, you can see that my skin looks still quite blurred, but if we sharpen it up, my eyes look a lot more detailed, my lips look a lot more detailed, and so does everything else. So I kind of bring the sharpen up just to make my skin look like skin again, because after all of the blurring and all of the filters, we want it to still look natural. Okay, so now you want to move on to blacks, and this will basically adjust all of the dark tones in your photos. So I usually bring this down just a little bit, and then I leave shadows completely. I don't really use this much because I find that it just creates, I don't know, it just creates too much contrast, and that's not the look that we want to go with. Now, highlights. If you're finding that your highlight is a little too much, like it's a little too beaming, girl, this is when you want to bring this down. And although this will bring down all of the light points of the photo, we can adjust this, don't stress. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down a little bit because I don't want my highlight to look too fucking like over the top crazy, because then obviously it's fake and the product that I'm trying to plug in this case won't look realistic at all. So then I go back to tools, basic, brightness, and then I bring up the brightness just to add a little bit more life back into the photo. So once you've done that, you want to hit tools, go into colors. Here is where the photo is made completely. So first thing I hit is saturation, of course. We want to bring up the saturation. We want to make all of these gorgeous colors pop. We want to make the bronzer pop, my eye color pop, the lip color pop, the background pop. So then I go in with temperature and I bring down the temperature because this may give off a more orange tone, and that's not what we want. So by bringing down the temperature, we're neutralizing that tone, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit more, and tint is really, really useful as well. If you have a photo that's a little bit too blue or a little bit too yellow, you can use these tones to neutralize them, and they work a treat. Okay guys, so once we've done that, hit the accept button, and then everything is pretty much done. Then this button here will show you the before and after of each effect as well as the overall picture. Now, one thing I did want to show you guys, and let me show you this really quickly. So you want to go up to the top, hit save photo, or you can actually just publish straight to Instagram. I don't do that usually because then you have to log in with your details and I can't be fucked. So one thing that I forgot to do on Facetune was show you guys how I make my hair look a lot whiter. So you just kind of want to zoom in on the area that you want to bring more grayness to or ashiness to, and for me that's my hair. So then I go into whiten. Now what whiten does is it takes out any of the color in the photo. It basically just drains it and makes it look black and white. So this is perfect if you have like really, really blonde hair and you want it to look silver, or if you want your blonde to look a little bit more ashy, you can just go straight over the top and it looks a lot more gray. So guys, I hope that you all learned a little something on how to edit your Instagram photos. As I said earlier, the two apps that I use are Enlight and Facetune. If you guys have any other video requests like this, like if you guys want me to do a video on how I edit my Instagram videos or my YouTube videos, let me know down in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will have a video kind of going over why I haven't been filming lately in the next week or so. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.